Everyone in crypto would agree. The next 5 years are going to be so bright. There's so many incredible things happening. Bitcoin is probably going to reach $500,000, maybe $1 million. Right now, maybe things aren't good. We're in a bear market, but the next 5 years are going to be incredible. Everyone's going to make a lot of money. Everyone is going to be a millionaire and drive a Lambo. But what if the exact opposite were to be true? As you know, Bitcoin likes to surprise everybody. Markets like to surprise everybody. And what I'm going to show you today is going to destroy your hopes and dreams for the next 5 years for Bitcoin. You will hate it. You will hate everything I'm about to tell you, but you will respect it because it's based on facts. And it's happened in markets, actually 2 other times in history. So what we're saying Bitcoin might do, it's actually happened before, it's happened multiple times, and markets always react like this. In today's video, I'm going to share what that is, what could happen to Bitcoin for the next 5 years, and how it could take away your hopes and dreams, but only for about 5 years. If you're new here, my name is Steve. Hit that subscribe button. I went from welfare to minting millionaires with my courses. And you can find our courses at cryptocrewuniversity.com. We're going to jump into this video right here. What I'm going to share with you is something about what happened with the Dow Jones during this entire period, and something that happened with the Dow Jones again during this entire period. Usually, these periods happen after extraordinary growth, and the markets needed to build a base. They didn't build a base for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. They built a base for years because the growth rate was just too substantial, and the markets needed to cool off and create a strong base and foundation for the next run. And once we had that next run and everyone became, very, very wealthy, we had another period of extremely slow growth. And there are signals in here, and there's things that happen in this type of a scenario that we see happening with Bitcoin. Bitcoin recently made a double top. Now, it didn't capture the attention of a lot of folks, but Bitcoin has never made a double top. You can see the top here. You could see the top here, the top here, the top here. We've never made a double top. And what's really concerning is that both of these scenarios started with a double top. The scenario back here in 1965, back in the good old days, if you were alive then, you can see that this top, and by the way, this chart is a shout out to Xcavo. Maybe somebody can message him. Maybe you can message him and tell them that we gave him a shout out. But make no mistake, these markets happen in cycles. And when you have extraordinary growth, like we did from this bottom to this top, we had to have a slowdown period. We had to create a strong foundation in order to have an actual next bull run. This always happens in markets, especially markets that are very, very hot. They need to cool off and create a foundation. There's nothing hotter than Bitcoin. Nothing. Nothing on earth has grown faster than Bitcoin. Nothing. You could have taken your money and put it in anything in the past 13 years, and nothing would have earned you as much of a return as Bitcoin. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. Bitcoin has never had a double top. Bitcoin has been hot, white hot, and blue hot its entire life, right? It only knows hot. Now, the question would be, what would cause a sideways move for multiple years like this? The double top was our warning. You can see none of these others were double tops. On the whole ride up, it was just white hot. On the whole ride up here, white hot, no double tops. But it started with a double top that triggered a train reaction, and it took many, many, many years to recover. So the question becomes, could this actually happen with Bitcoin? How long would it last? And what would it look like? On our videos, we always provide a perspective that's new and fresh and unique. That's why you just subscribed. You don't see anybody else talking about this idea and having it be based on facts. You don't see it. That's why you come to our channel. We don't tell you what you want to hear. We tell you what's actually true in the charts. That's why you just hit that subscribe button. I want to talk about what it would actually look like if Bitcoin moved sideways for a handful of years, right? Because everybody it would agree that Bitcoin is going to reach 100K in our next bull run. I don't think there'll be many people that say, I don't think so, except for folks that follow our channel, because we've also based that on facts. But now you've got further evidence that it might not just be not 100K this year. It might not be 100K in the following year, and the following year after that, and the following year after that, and the following year after that. It might be a while until we reach 100K. We might be in this kind of a pattern. We started with a double top. So we have to ask ourselves, is this a sign of what's to come? Right? We have our base down here. We don't know where the bottom is yet. We have projected that the bottom is in as of a little over 90 days ago, but let's hypothetically say the bottom's not in. We swing down here, and then we come back up, and we have another top up here, and then we come back down, and we have a top down, or we bottom back out, and then we have another top. I mean, we're already in 2025, right? You could see what's happened in the past. This is where things get interesting, because this really goes against the grain, and I like our videos to really go against the grain. I like to make you a little bit uncomfortable with facts, because what you talk about with your friends in crypto is only Bitcoin going to 250,000 to 500,000, and it seems like it's a done deal, that it's already happened, that it's 100% certainty that it's going to happen. And that's where you get into trouble with markets. There's never a certainty in markets. You can see this growth rate from the year 1982 to the year 2000 was astronomical. And everybody thought that growth rate was going to continue. Everybody. And that's where markets take you by surprise. Markets are designed to take the majority by surprise. They always do. And you can look back even 100 years ago. 200 years ago, anything that's represented money has always taken people by surprise. And the surprise comes in the form of greed. Every human has greed. There's no human on earth that doesn't have any greed. And greed is really troublesome in markets, because that's where you can cloud your judgment and it will take advantage of you. All right. So it started with a simple double top back in the 60s. It started with a simple double top back in 1999. And it took years and years and years to recover. So Bitcoin, what could Bitcoin potentially do? How likely is this to happen? What's my honest opinion? How likely? Is it like a 5% chance, or is it like a 50% chance? That's a big difference. So let's discuss that now. Is it a small chance? I would say this is definitely a chance, because we've shown some early signs. Bitcoin has been white hot. We've clearly been slowing down. You can see our growth rate here, slowed a little bit here, slowed quite a bit here, and slowed dramatically here. Bitcoin is showing signs that it's ready to take a little bit of a breather and have a handful of year period like this. So I wanted to present you the next 5 years of Bitcoin may not be what you expect. It may not be what you want, and it may not be what you consider to be a certainty, because there are no certainties in markets. Markets will always surprise you. They will always throw a curveball at you, and it always comes when you are too emotional and you're too emotionally attached to an outcome that in your mind is a certainty. So we need to keep this into consideration. Do we know with certainty this is going to happen? No. What's the probability? I would say it's a coin flip right now. It's a 50-50. We need further evidence to come into the charts. We need to know, how are we going to act when we get up near 70K? Are we going to see a lot of problems? Are we going to see some red flags? You want to look at the size of the candles when you get closer to our next top, right? You want to look at the size of the candle. Are we getting bigger and bigger and bigger candles? Then we're going to burst through this 70. Are the candles getting smaller and smaller and smaller? Are we showing a lot of wicks up here? We could be in for some turmoil. If next year, sometime middle of 2023, we're approaching this number and we crash back down, we're in for it for a handful of years of having sideways action. It's just a fact. But again, it doesn't mean the market's dead. It actually means the market's incredibly healthy. This was the most healthy time we could have ever had, because it built this foundation for us to have this next run. Same with here. And I suspect it'll be no different. So it's too early to tell, but it's definitely a fascinating matter, and I wanted to bring it to your attention. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you right back here in the next video. Peace and love to the fellow underdogs.